In his book, Love, Medicine, and Miracles, Dr. Bernie Siegel describes a moment in his kitchen when the garbage disposal got stuck. He calls out to his wife, "What do I do now?" "Press the reset button," she calls back. Bernie then turns to God. "God, why didn't you give us a reset button?" "I did," says God. "I gave you pain and suffering." However we understand our own pain and struggle, we know that times of suffering hold the possibility of reset. We reevaluate who we are, what matters most in our lives, and how we want to live. The years 2020 and 2021 may have turned out to be such a turning point. The world was plunged into a global pandemic. Life as we knew it came to a sudden halt. We all have carried the weight of personal worry and anxiety. But we have not suffered equally in this pandemic. Some have lost income or livelihoods. Many have been ill. Some of us have been hospitalized. And many of us have lost members of our families or close friends to the ravages of this virus. How and when we will emerge from the pandemic still remains unknown. What we do know is that we are being given a chance. Life before the pandemic was marked for many of us by a frenzied pace of life, by obsession with deadlines, meetings, and schedules. We were doing so much and living so little. The grasp of another's hand, the close laughter of friends, hugs of comfort, all these still forbidden. It seems that in addition to the 5 physical senses we already knew, that we now experienced another one, longing, a tangible awareness of all the ways that we could not and longed to touch or sing or smell or console or rejoice. For many of us, this new sense, the sense of longing, ironically brought a renewed sense of life, of feeling more deeply, of sensing more deeply. And this moment brought home our vulnerability. Yes, we are all mortal, and yes, our days are limited, and yes, life is precious. Especially for those of us who were financially stable and relatively healthy, we weren't thinking of life's limits. All of a sudden, we were all scared. We were all vulnerable. The jolt of the pandemic threw us into a profound self-reckoning. We realized that over time, our hearts had become hardened. Had I been too busy to listen to my kids? Did I take the time off from work to have dinner with my partner, my friends and colleagues? Did I take the time to notice the flowers, to utter a prayer of hope or despair or gratitude? We were closed to the life around us and in us. We would not have chosen these past 18 months. The suffering is not a gift. To be peeled back, to be vulnerable, and to see what is exposed underneath, to understand that we are connected to all of life, that we are responsible to others and to the life around us, that is a chance, the possibility of a gift. We are being given the chance for a reset, what is also called a spiritual awakening. Who are we now? Master journalists Elizabeth Diaz and Audra Birch asked of Americans over these past months. In a stunning special section of the Sunday Times in the spring, excerpted in an exhibit in our atrium, they featured stories of people all over America. Certain moments in life, they write, have the power to shift our core sense of being: the death of a parent, the birth of a child, an incurable disease diagnosis. The coronavirus pandemic and all it has wrought is such a moment. Everyone knows someone who got sick or died or lost her job. Everyone has a personal before and after. It has been a collective near-death experience for those lucky enough to survive. People have found themselves close to life's deepest questions, those forced by an apocalypse. Questions about how we live, how we suffer, and how we make meaning of our short time here on earth. Who am I? Who are we? Who are we becoming? How have we been transformed? Who am I? Who am I becoming? Thousands of years ago, our ancestor Jacob was in the powerful grip of a moment like this. He was about to face his twin, or some say his other half. You may remember Jacob and Esau, who were born twins. Esau was the older, favorite of his father Isaac, and the designated heir. Jacob was the younger and favorite of his mother Rebekah. Conflict is brewing. The moment arrives. When Isaac had grown old and his eyesight had dimmed, he called his elder son Esau and said to him, "My son, I have grown old, and for all I know, I may die one day. So take your quiver and your bow, go out to the countryside and hunt me some game. Make me some tasty dishes such as I like and bring them to me so that I can give you my heartfelt blessing before I die." Rebekah overhears this conversation and summons Jacob. "Look, I hear your father speaking to your brother Esau. Listen to me. Go to the flock and bring me 2 tender goats, and I will make them the way your father likes them, and you will bring them to him so that he may bless you before he dies." But Jacob says, "This won't work. My brother Esau is a hairy man, and I am smooth-skinned. My father will feel me and know that I am a cheat." Not to worry. Rebekah covers Jacob's smooth arms with animal skins and dresses him in Esau's clothes, carrying his scent. Taking the dish his mother prepared, Jacob enters his father's tent. "Father," he says. Isaac replies, "Here I am. Which of my sons are you?" Jacob says to his father, "I am Esau, your firstborn." Isaac beckons Jacob closer. He feels his arms. He smells the scent of his clothes. The voice is the voice of Jacob, but the hands are the hands of Esau, he murmurs, confused. And finally, he blesses him. No sooner does Jacob leave the tent with the blessing than Isaac returns, flushed from the hunt. "Here I am, Father. Please eat of your son's game so that you may give me your heartfelt blessing." In a thundering moment of realization, Esau and Isaac both understand the deception, and Esau is ready to kill his brother. Kill his brother. Jacob flees for his life. It is now 20 years later. Jacob has lived these past decades in exile. He married and now has a tribe of children, and he's on his way back to the land of Canaan. And he knows that he must face his brother, face himself, face his conscience. Certain moments have the power to shift our core sense of being. Jacob prepares for this moment. In the middle of the night, he is at the edge of a river. A divine being wrestles with him all night and finally pins him to the ground. The angel has one question for Jacob. "What is your name?" The last time anyone asked Jacob what his name was, he answered, Esau. Who are you? Who are you becoming? Waters have often been places of transformation. Readers of Greek mythology will remember that all who die must traverse the waters of the river Styx. For Hindus of India, cremated ashes are floated on one of India's 7 holy rivers. We tell the story of walking through the waters of the Sea of Reeds, becoming transformed from slaves into free people. Jacob stands at the edge of the river in the middle of the night, searching for something something sacred he lost.
From the mountains of faith to the river so deep, I must be looking for something sacred I lost. Oh, the river is wide and it's too hard to cross. I don't know why I go walking at night, but now I'm tired and I don't want to walk anymore. I hope it doesn't take the rest of my life until I find what it is, what I've been looking for.
In the middle of the night, I go walking in my sleep, through the jungle of doubt, to a river so deep. I know I'm searching for something so undefined, that I could only be seen by the eyes of the blind. In the middle of the night, I go walking in the middle of the
I'm not sure about life after this. God knows I've never been a spiritual man. Baptized by the fire, I wade into the river that runs through the promised land. In the middle of the night, I go walking in my sleep, through the desert of truth, to the river so deep. We all end in the ocean, we all start in the stream. We're all carried along by the river of dreams. In the middle of the night,
We are still in the middle of the night. And the angel is calling to us. Who are you? Who are you becoming? We have each experienced this pandemic differently, uniquely. But wherever we are, the angel is calling to each of us. Our Kol Ami community is offering us two sacred opportunities these high holidays for reflection and remembering. Led by a group of artists and visionaries, we will be creating a contemplative and sacred space outside the sanctuary on our beautiful grounds. In workshops that will begin next Sunday and continue on and after Yom Kippur, you will have the chance to create a rock garden, rocks painted with our hopes, our sorrows, our losses, what we have lost, whom we have lost, our gratitude, so that we will always remember together what we have been through. Yom Kippur every year challenges us with the ways we remember, and this Yom Kippur will be like no other. This Rosh Hashanah is also one like no other. The time of reset, of awakening, is here. For some, facing trauma feels too hard. Others have found unexpected resilience and courage rage, or stillness. Transformation was forced on some, and for others it was chosen. For many, the suffering of this past year has birthed an awakening. But the clarity that comes with intense suffering often clouds as time moves on. We have a window now to look at our lives anew. What's your name? The angel presses against Jacob. My name is Jacob, he says this time. Now that you know who you are, you can become who you are yet to be. No longer shall your name be Jacob. From now on, you will also be known as Yisrael, for you wrestled with this moment and emerged transformed. Rosh Hashanah, we have a chance to start this year anew, to reflect on how we have changed or want to change. I invite you to walk through the exhibit in the atrium. You can walk through virtually as well. The stories of others, reflections from Jewish texts, the longings of our hearts suspended on prayer flags floating on the wind, these may be triggers for you. What piece of wisdom, what prayer of the heart, what insight from this year might you want to capture and remember? Take these words and place them in your heart. Remember them when you lie down and when you rise up. Write them on the doorposts of your house and on your gates. You may already have a mezuzah at the entrance to your home on the doorpost. This year, I invite you to add a mezuzah, to seize this moment of reset and start anew. You may, of course, choose to use a traditional cloth, a parchment scroll with the words of the Shema. We invite you this year to add your own prayer, the wisdom that you need to remember. We have a window now to look at our lives anew. The stunning mezuzot we have chosen from metal artist Gary Rosenthal have a window for the scroll that you may write. In the atrium, as part of this exhibit, you will find scrolls of paper. Please take one home, or if you are home, you can print it out. Take the time you need to reflect. What are the words that you need now to speak to your heart? What do you need to remember? Who do you want to become? If you are part of a family, you might want to do this together. Bring your completed scroll back here tomorrow, following services on the second day of Rosh Hashanah, or in between services on Yom Kippur Day. Choose a beautiful mezuzah case, mount it at home, or in your room, or at your office. Lama'an tizkaru, when you see it, you will remember. Even though I know the river is wide, I walk down every evening and I stand on the shore. I try to cross to the opposite side so I can finally find what I've been looking for, something sacred I lost. My spirit, my soul, is ready to be reawakened. Blessed are you, source of the universe, who has given me life and sustained me and brought me to this holy moment. Shehecheyanu vekiyemanu vehigihanu lazman hazeh.